Hi, this is Ben from 561 Music Podcast. Right now, we're trying to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. It just helps us get out there more. It also enables us to monetize the podcast, to make it better, do more advertising for it and things like that. Subscribe to the podcast and hit the notifications button. That would be doing us a really big favor. Thank you very much. Welcome to 561 Music. My name's Ben.
And I'm Hector.
And how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm going to Vegas this weekend.
Oh, that's right. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah, man. When we were young, it's about, what is it, like 30 bands or something in one day?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way we'll see them all, but, you know, I'll definitely be sprinting from stage to stage to catch like 2 songs at every stage. You know?
Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah,
I remember
really
there was
fun.
all these sort of jokes about it when it first happened, you know, because people were
People thought it wasn't real. They thought it wasn't there was no way there's all these bands and whatever, which I don't understand. I mean, there's all these South by Southwest and Vans Warped Tour that used to go around and stuff. There was always these festivals with like a lot of really good bands. I don't know why people thought it was fake, but it's not fake. Or it is fake, and when I get there, it's just going to be an empty field. We'll see.
It's just a huge hole.
Yeah, it'll suck. But that's fine. I'm still going to Vegas.
No,
So,
I'm sure you have a really,
awesome.
really good time, man. I'm kind of jealous. I'm super jealous. Of, if nothing else, it's a vacation plus a gazillion bands. You want to
man.
see.
And Kelly and I are going to, we hit 25 years this year, so we're doing the Rock and Roll Wedding Chapel and renewing our vows. So that's going to be like ridiculous and fun at the same time.
Excellent. So this weekend we played Barkback, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, man. That was a good time. And thank God the rain held off. I thought for sure it was going to rain.
Yeah, for real. We all woke up and I was like, oh no, it's like coming down.
Yeah, cloud of doom. It was pouring rain, and then all of a sudden at like 11, it stopped raining.
Yeah, no, it was really good fun, and you know, I've done it with No Name, but it's nice to be invited to do it with Killbillies. It was great. It was a lot of fun, and I don't know, just in the field, they really stepped up their game. They had all of the tents
insane.
And everything, all of the different vendors.
Yeah,
and
they had
everything.
the food vendors and the vendors with just selling stuff, different shop vendors and stuff, and then they had what'd they say, 10 dogs got adopted. Something like that. Yeah, that's crazy.
It was like a sort of a mini real festival.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Makes us have to step up our 561 Music Festival game.
I know, yeah, really. I'm going to get a Barkback tattoo. I think I'm going to do it. I've got my right leg is for miscellaneous tattoos. That's what I've designated it as, like things that aren't kind of part of like some kind of grand scheme.
Sure.
So yeah, it's going on the right leg.
Nice.
Yeah.
You get a Killbillies one next to it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, because I'm scared of that, because it's like the death of the band if you get your own tattoo.
I mean, is it though?
I don't know if it is or not, but I'm a little bit creeped out by it. Feel free to get one yourself. But
it could be the death of me, not the band, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Coral Condi, I think is her name. Yeah, it is her name,
Yeah.
Coral Condi. She's going to do it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I've seen her work, yeah.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks
good
I'm
stuff,
going to go and do that. But yeah, we're very lucky to have Sierra Lane with us today. How's it going, Sierra?
Hi, guys.
Sierra was our first guest ever.
I'm back.
Yeah, that's awesome. And now we kind of have our stuff together a bit more. It's nice to invite you to a slightly more professional outfit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's an honor to be here.
Yeah. And it was really kind of you to sort of get us out of the gate too. You were a great guest to have on first, because you were way more confident than us and just kind of came in with all this swagger and just owned it. And so yes, I feel like now we can box our weight a little bit, with you, which is great. And so much has happened to you since we last saw you, isn't it?
A lot.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
You're busy.
Very busy.
I suppose the thing that everyone wants to happen, for their band has happened to you. You've been signed.
I have been signed.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So I got signed to Law Records, and it has been so amazing. I've gotten so many opportunities to get in touch with cool bands, and
to the uninitiated, where's Law Records out of?
Northern California, I believe.
Okay, and it's a predominantly a reggae label, right?
Yeah. So So Pepper's on the label, but Yasad, their drummer, is also like founder president
Gotcha,
type
yeah.
deal. So
Gotcha.
it's Pepper's label, which is sick. I
Yeah,
actually we'll touch more about it later, but I recently got to meet them all and then played a show with them.
Nice.
Don't ask me about dates because I don't remember when any of this was.
Right.
It's all been one big year. But yeah, they're just such a good family, or Ohana as they call it, and they're super supportive and super, flexible and just are really on my side, and it's really it's honestly like best case scenario for me right now, just because I am still learning. I am one of the youngest in the scene and like most underdeveloped as far as like music goes. Like I only have 2 songs out, and they saw enough potential in that and to sign me, which I'm very grateful for.
Yeah.
So for them to believe in me from the beginning is like super amazing. So I'm very
Absolutely.
grateful for that, and I just hope that I do right by them going forward.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And the fact that you've now been on the road a little bit. Yeah, who did you go on the road with again?
So I've been on the road with Cashed Out and Pacifier.
Yeah.
And I'm about to go on tour with the Hip Abduction and Joe Samba, who are super amazing groups. So I'm
cool.
really excited.
So you've been out of state as well, haven't you? Where have you?
Yeah.
Didn't you do a tour of Texas?
Yeah, we went on a tour in Texas. I believe we did 4 or 5 shows. We played it was kind of cool. It's called Tunes in the Trees, but this family built like a stage in their backyard in Fort Worth.
Okay.
And they've had Cashed Out before, but we got to open for them there. So that was like the first time, the first show there. And then we went, I think it was Corpus Christi.
Right.
We played Texas Sand Fest, which is like a sandcastle building like contest type deal. It was like really cool. It was interesting. And then we played in Dallas, which was cool. We played Dallas Reggae Festival.
Nice.
Which is really cool. A lot of awesome groups playing there. And then lastly, we played at Scout Bar in Houston.
Yeah.
That by far, I think, so far, besides playing at sorry, I'm like far away from the microphone. Besides playing Janice, I think that was my favorite show. Like sound was on point, lighting was on point, we played on point. Like the crowd was amazing.
Nice.
Cashed Out was amazing. We had 2 other openers that were also very amazing. I think that was like one of my favorite shows I've played so far.
Something that I find when I go on tour with bands is you see what works and what doesn't in terms of what they're playing, and it really like it can be very creatively inspiring because you're like, oh, we need that in the set.
Right,
we need that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you find you wanted to write music like as soon as you got off the tour?
Yeah, a little bit for sure. It was like more so inspiring as in like how can I up my game on tour as opposed to like let me write new music, which it also played a part in that. But
Yeah.
I've seen just in the bands that I've seen and like played shows along with, they'll do like cool transitions that are in the same key as a song, and then it'll go into it, and like it'll just super cool stuff like that, and just ways to up their stage presence. And Pacifier, who's another band we went on tour with, they all switched instruments at one point, and you didn't even like realize it happened until you're looking at them and they're like, wait, you're
Like
supposed to be on
mid-song,
drums.
or-
Yeah,
Oh,
they did like kind of a transition or whatnot, which was really cool. So I've always just been trying to think about new ways to up my game. And
yeah, those kind of medleys and things like that, and instrumental sort of dubbed out little transitions between songs. It can, yeah, it definitely adds to the sheen and professionalism of the show for sure.
Exactly.
We've sort of ended up building some of those into our set just because we play so much that it kind of organically happens, you know. Then all of a sudden you have this medley and you're like, okay, well I guess we do that now, you know. Like,
yeah, that's kind of how it happened for like our local shows. We've just been playing these songs for so long already that we just we didn't even like rehearse them. We've just been playing them for so long that we already have like our specific way that we play them.
Yeah.
So I like to incorporate some of that into like the professional sets and stuff like that. And I like to throw in a cover into those sets just because like not a ton of people know who I am yet. So if they're gonna take away anything, it might as well be like a song that they know, and then like the way that we play it, you know.
Sure.
Right, yeah.
So that's just kind of like another tactic I've been doing, but I've actually come up with enough originals now to play like at least a 45-minute set, all original. So definitely evolving on that end of things.
Well, a lot of your covers, just from what I've seen when you've been playing out, a lot of your covers are kind of original covers. If
Right.
You
I've
don't
always
play them
yeah.
at the way they're.
I've never desired to play them the way that they're
and that's
written,
awesome.
because I feel like I don't know. I just feel like that everyone's seen that, you know.
Yeah.
And as long as I can make it original, but then give the crowd the familiarity that they're looking for in a local musician, like that's kind of what I was going for. So I like to bring like the cool covers that I play into that professional set, because you know, even if everyone knew all of my originals, like they are gonna feel extra connected to that.
Well, like you said, if they don't know you really well yet, and what they're walking away with is that cover. If you make it your own, they're still walking away with kind of a part of you, sort of.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And that's just the ultimate goal, is to give them something that they know or like will appreciate, but then also like give them a part of me that, you know, they didn't have before they walked into the venue.
Nice.
Yeah, cool. So you mentioned Janice Live before.
Mm-hmm.
I was sort of watching that from afar, you know, on social media, and it looked like a lot of fun. That place is awesome. How did you wind up playing there? Was that through the label?
So it was the first time I played there was with Serenation, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
So hang on, I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was a Serenation. They just like hit me up one day and was like, "Hey, we're playing 2 shows like in your neck of the woods. Like, do you want to play?" And I was like,
Nice.
"Absolutely."
Yeah.
Well, St. Pete's more of that's where they're from, but they were playing at Guanabanas. So I was like, I live 2 minutes from there. Of course, I'm going to play with you guys there.
Yeah.
So it was really awesome. And then walking onto that, I think that was the biggest stage that I had played so far. And it was just a really awesome experience. Like not only playing on the stage, but seeing how like a production that big on the back end is. I love like seeing that stuff, like the stage crew and like seeing like just everybody work.
Everyone just filling their roles and being professional.
Yeah, and like being there early and seeing them do the job, because like, you know, if as a concert goer, like you just walk in and you see the magic. You don't see like how it was created. So yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
You don't see the man behind the curtain.
Exactly, the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, totally. All the lighting rig and everything, and the guys up in the, you know, in the booth back there. Yeah, it is interesting. I've done a few gigs like that over the years. I haven't played a gazillion enormous gigs, but I've played enough to, you know, have been able to see it, and it's really interesting. So, and you take a particular interest in all that. You've started doing sound over at Guanabana sometimes.
I have, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, how often do you do that?
I do that every Sunday. I recently did a Saturday night, which was pretty cool because it was kind of like a bigger production type deal, because Sundays are typically, you know, solo acoustic or duos or whatnot.
So how come you want to do that?
I don't know. I've always, like, whether it was at like someone else's live show or me going to an actual concert, I've always been like, I wish the highs were turned up a little bit, or like something like that. Like I've always enjoyed myself at the shows, but always found myself like, I wonder what kind of guitar rig they're using. Oh, I wonder like what would happen if they threw more reverb on their vocals or something like that. Like I've always been going back to like seeing how the magic happens at the shows.
To meddle a little bit in the part of the sound.
And I had asked Matt, who's the main sound engineer over there, a while ago if I could, and I was too slammed. I never could make it in. And then I had a Sunday free, and he's like, "You want to come train?" And I said, "Absolutely." Yeah. So I went over, and it was kind of intimidating at first.
Because it's
a huge board, and but so far so good.
Nice.
I haven't messed up yet. I did like one time where I kind of like that caused a bunch of feedback, but
everyone does that.
Everyone does that. But yeah, I ran sound my first Saturday night with like a full like 7-piece band.
Oh wow!
And it went good. Nice. And I don't know, I really love it. Definitely like see myself doing it a lot more in the future as like a side hustle type thing.
For sure, yeah. And it's a nice change from sort of a miserable, disillusioned middle-aged man. So, it's someone, an enthusiastic young person who actually wants to do it. Right,
yeah. And it's just cool because, playing the local shows can get like pretty tiring sometimes, especially if you're doing it every single weekend. So like I really like it because it breaks up my weekend from playing live. But I'm also still involved with music, and I'm not, you know, working a day job kind of deal. So I really enjoy it. It's definitely one of my like favorite things I look forward to in the week.
Are you still doing a lot of local shows?
I do them every weekend. I'm not playing a ton during the week now. Like when I was first starting, I used to play like 7 days a week. It was crazy, but I've kind of cut back now just to make room for like, you know, to focus on stuff that the label's expecting of me and like trying to like push myself towards that way. But I do play pretty much every Friday and Saturday, some Thursdays, like I'm playing tomorrow. And then I think I have like a once a month thing at Crazy Uncle Mike's now, like the second Wednesday of every month. So
yeah, cool. That's a good stage.
Still keeping consistent while also, you know, making room for other things.
So does the label, when you're saying making room for the label, does the label give you like a kind of a checklist, if you will, of things?
Not necessarily,
like,
not yet. I think the main thing that they've been wanting from me is new music, because you know, they can't really help me in any area if I don't give them anything to you know, promote me with and help out with. So I've just been focusing on recording. We've been recording a lot, and then also just tweaking, you know, stuff for like the bigger shows and making sure that I have, you know, what I need to, you know, because those kind of tours just happen at the drop of the hat sometimes, you know. An opener could drop out and then they'd be like, okay, can you play next week, you know? And it hasn't truly happened yet, but I just wanted to be prepared for that. So
yeah, for sure.
Just kind of stuff like that.
Do they help out with I mean, obviously they if you give them some new music and stuff, they're out there pushing and promoting and doing all that stuff. But does the label help out with anything like the recording and anything?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, awesome.
They're definitely helpful with that.
Because there's a ton of different types of deals you can sign, and I feel like these days a lot of the deals you'll sign are just sort of for promotional deals. You give them the finished product, and
right, exactly.
But that's really nice that they're paying to get it recorded too.
Yeah, it hasn't been too much yet though, just because I haven't recorded a ton of music since I've signed with them, but I've definitely gotten a good songs done. Like we're about to release one, and we can touch on that soon. But
where are you recording all this stuff?
At Monty's house.
Okay.
So he actually turned like a 4-car garage into a full-on like music studio.
Crap, that's awesome.
And he did it from YouTube. I was like, did you hire someone to contract for you? And he's like, no, I YouTubed it. I was like, what the hell, dude?
That's awesome.
So it was really cool to like see him like work on that and like the progress made with it, because for the longest time I was like, oh, Monty's home studio, this mystical thing that like I haven't seen yet, because I was so used to like we recorded Deep Dive. He lived in an apartment with some roommates, and he had like a small walk-in closet, and he put his bed in there and turned the room into a studio.
That's awesome.
So it was like it was a tiny room, and like I was like so used to that, and then I walked into his home studio now, and I'm like, holy shit.
Oh,
like
nice.
It's beautiful. It's so gorgeous.
It's funny. I forgot he was playing with you and stuff, and he his old drummer is dating, for lack of a better word, dating my niece. They've been dating for a while now, and I've been hearing, I went out to see them a few times as Monty, as the band, and I've been hearing for a while now the stories of the mystical supposed studio that's coming, and not too that long ago he said something to me about like, oh yeah, you should see it, it's huge, it's crazy, there's so much cool gear in there.
It's gorgeous.
It's
called
go take a look.
It's called Succulent Sound Studios. Follow them on Instagram. But
I've heard of it. Yeah, that makes sense. I gotta figure
they
out
have they haven't posted anything, but they just put like this week posted their first like promo pictures of like the control room, as they call it.
Nice. And did it all from YouTube. So who else is in your permanent band at the moment?
So we got Monty, and then we've got Corey Riccardi on drums, Derek McLean on guitar, and Jiz Forte on bass.
I thought I knew about I pretty much knew the lineup. I just wanted to shout them out, you know. Jiz
shout out my guys.
I
love them so much. They're my crew.
It's really important that you have that your band is, you know, people that you really get on with, and that you're kind of good friends with and can trust, you know. Because if it's any other way, can get very problematic, you know, just especially if you're away for long periods of time, it gets rough, man, you know.
Oh, for sure. Like, I don't know. I've been playing with Corey, Derek, and Monty for a really long time. I think we're approaching like 4 years now. And Jiz, same deal. I've known her for about the same amount of time, but like the first gig she ever played with me, first couple gigs, she was on drums. And then
talented lady.
Yeah, very talented lady. But it's just funny because we'll look back at and like think about like how we would interact with each other like when we first met, and we would just like text each other like, hey, like what's going on, and like now we're besties, and it's just really awesome. Like we're all besties. Like when the five of us are together, we have the most immaculate vibes ever. So
excellent.
I'm like very grateful for them. They're the coolest group of.
So when you have like some of these other musicians, like I know Jake Tacos and a couple other people. I think Kevin from Spread the Doves played with you.
Yeah,
you know, when
shout
you have
out
these,
to Spread the Doves.
Yeah, man, shout out to all those guys. When you have some of these other guys play with you, is it like you're adding something for that particular show, or is it just somebody couldn't make it and they're kind
it's kind
subbing?
of an availability thing.
Yeah.
I think the first 3 tours that I've done were kind of like I was lacking on the scheduling kind of thing, and I was like, oh shit, I need a band.
Okay.
But
gotcha.
I know that my guys work really hard, and like they're hustling out here with like their lessons and their local gigs, and
Sure.
I had asked Spread the Dub a while ago. I was like, hey, like, do you want to travel? And they were like, yeah, we're down. And so I asked those boys, and they've been on like the 3 tours with me. Derek and Monty went on the Texas tour with me.
Okay.
But going forward, it's gonna be my main dudes. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Looking forward to you getting, you know,
Taking over the world.
taking on the world, exactly. Getting out of the South and exploring the whole country and, you know, other countries. It'd be
Yeah,
fun.
that's the dream, honestly.
Yeah.
I love it here, but I'm like itching to travel so bad, and if I can travel and play music, that's the ultimate goal.
Oh hell yeah.
Well, there's something I love about touring is that you show up to a place and people are happy to see you. You don't come in as this mark, you know, this tourist that people just think, how can I get money out of them? You know, you're there and people are like, oh, thank God you're here. This is, you know, which is just such a wonderful way to travel.
Yeah.
You know, you don't really get to see a ton of the place, but you can't pay for that kind of access because you know you go into people's homes and people just open up to you, and it's great. You know?
Yeah, it's really awesome, and even though you don't get to see a lot of the place, like it almost makes it like easier to remember because like you don't have all of this stuff going on. You have like the show and then like the little time you have before the show to like hang around town, and you're like, this was like a nice little pocket of memory that I want to keep forever.
It's you know, when you're saying that people are happy to see you, and it's really kind of funny because it doesn't matter if you're freaking U2 or if you're, you know, us. You know, like you show up to a venue and people act like oh my God, I'm so happy you're here, you know.
I remember like
insane.
signing my first autograph, and I'm like, wait, me? Like you want an autograph from me? Little me?
I know, it's weird, isn't it?
It is pretty weird, and like I just think it's so cool, and like I just love interacting with the people.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it was really hard during COVID, like, because right after COVID, I think, not like right after, but I think the first tour I went on, it was still kind of like, hey, you should probably wear a mask, and I was just like, I just want to hug the people that like I appreciate my music, and I'm like, I don't want to get sick though.
No way.
But no, it's one of my favorite things is the crowd and like interacting with them, because it's just there's so many different people out there, and you don't even realize it until you've like traveled outside of here and like interacted with the different types of people in different areas, and it's just really cool. It's one of my favorite things.
No, absolutely, and you know, I'm sure at some point you'll get over to Europe, and so much fun to be had there, you know, mainland Europe. What I love about Europe, the big difference between Europe and here
people are
is
nice.
how they're not really that nice. I'd say they're probably nicer here, but the it's how different places are within short spaces. Like you know, you go from France to Italy or you know, Germany to Switzerland, and it's just like a line on the ground, but you know, in a short space of time, you could have crossed 3 or 4 countries, and they're all completely culturally different. You know,
I know, that's crazy to me. Yeah.
So much fun, and you'll see. I know that you'll be getting around and doing all that stuff for sure.
Oh, there's no doubt. We'll be having the third interview with Sierra, and she'll be telling us about her world escapades and all these ridiculous artists that she's played with. There's no doubt.
Yeah,
it'll happen. It's not
this
when.
Scar while fighting a whale in the
it's not
South
if.
Pacific.
It's not if. It's when.
I'll develop a British accent like Ben.
That's what happens.
Awesome.
Can you rate my British accent?
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
All right. All right. Now I'm nervous. Okay.
Okay. I won't look at you.
You never know what to say.
Let's just have a conversation and I'll just start talking.
Yeah, it's not being filmed. Don't worry.
It's not being filmed. Not at all.
It's okay.
I've got to keep going. You got.
I've got to speak back to you.
Yeah.
No, it's not being filmed. Don't worry.
It's not being filmed. Okay. So now I'm not as nervous.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay, you can kind of.
I've been working on it a little bit.
All right, yeah. Well, you're making me feel very at home.
Very at home. Okay, that's good. I didn't want to offend you in any way.
No, it's good, man.
Do you remember where were we? Alabama, and I walked up to the bar.
Oh,
yeah. I was getting like, I don't know, soda and some food or something, and James and I were standing there, and there was a girl sitting at the bar, like literally right where I was standing, right next to, and the bartender handed me the menu, and she broke into some British accent and said, do you want me to recommend something? And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, holy crap, you're from England. That's amazing.
Was it like this? Do you want me to recommend something?
It was exactly like that. It was exactly like that. And I looked at James and I said to her, I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Our singer's from England. And she's like, oh, honey, I'm from Alabama. I'm just fucking with you.
That's hilarious. It like kind of started as like a thing between my friends. Like we were just like talking British accents, but it started with the term of endearment, bruv.
Oh yeah.
We would be like, "What's up, bruv?" And then like it would just evolved into like every time we see each other, we're just like, "Hello." Like not quite like that. Like we do it seriously too. Like we'll just
that's great.
That's my daughter. Every time I call my daughter, she answers the phone. She's like, "Hello, father."
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah. She just speaks in an English accent like all the time.
All the time.
Yeah,
she
yeah.
wants to be British. Which I don't know why.
Ask my mom. She gets annoyed with me sometimes. She'll call me like Dobby from Harry Potter. She'll be like, "Okay, Dobby."
That's really funny.
Master has given Dobby a sock.
Yeah, I was gonna say, she's gonna hand you a sock, right?
Oh, that's great. Well, it's good to know that I am a source of great amusement for all of my friends and acquaintances.
Of course. You bring smiles to everyone, Ben.
No, I remember when I worked at School of Rock, there was every time I'd leave the room, I could hear them all like trying to imitate me.
He has an accent. Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, that's the gigs. We go play gigs and people could like women come up to us all the time. Oh my god, where's he from?
Yeah.
I'll
his
like
accent.
wanna like if I'm at a bar playing a gig, and then like some random dude and I'm like comes up to me, I'm like, oh god, here we go. I'll like A, tell him a name that's not my name because I'm like, I do not want to interact with you, and then B, also have an accent to make him think like I'm not staying here, I'm from overseas, leave me alone.
Oh, that's smart. That's actually really smart.
Defense mechanism.
That's really funny.
Yeah, totally. I can't. It's such a different experience being a woman to being a man in this world.
For
you
sure.
know, you just have different challenges. Not to say that men don't have any challenges, because we do, but they're very different, you know.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You should see my Instagram DMs.
Oh, Jesus
I'm
Christ.
so sure.
Yeah.
I'm so sure. But that's a good question. Like differences and what it's like being a woman in music as opposed to a man when you're out playing and stuff. I mean,
For sure. First thing I can think of is like, especially with the touring, is the sound engineers there like don't take me as seriously for sure. Like they'll like brush right over my sound check and then go to my bandmates, and like that happened to me at the Pepper show. I was like, I didn't even get to hear my guitar and my monitor. Like, hello.
Yeah.
But then like also now being a sound engineer, I know exactly what to tell them, and you know sometimes we'll be like, yeah, okay, cool, and then I'll be like, hello. Like
Yeah.
so that's like number one thing. I think another thing is just like, I don't know, drunk men at bars thinking they can talk to you however they want, and it's just really annoying because it's like, hi, like I'm just trying to exist here, like don't bother me, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, you know, I deal with it well. I know some people don't deal with that stuff very well, and you know, it's every person. Like
well, there's a power in it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I guess it's incredibly. I can imagine that all of that garbage must be incredibly frustrating. But there's also a side to it that is powerful. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So, I don't know. It's,
like, I got a comment on my post I posted today, and it was in another language, and I was like, oh, I wonder what this person said. And like I translated it, and he was like, why, like, you are so skinny, are you okay? And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? And I just deleted it, and I know that some other people would be like, you like, comment back, like, tell them to fuck off. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to delete it. It doesn't, like, sure, it's annoying, but I know that I ate an entire pizza today alone. So
I know people feeling like they can kind of comment on that stuff as if, I don't know, as if a public comment is like in any way like a caring thing to do.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. And it's funny because I was doing TikTok lives for a while because my label's very adamant about TikTok, and I am too, because I as someone who like is on it all the time just scrolling, like I've seen the algorithms and whatnot, and honestly, I gained like 11,000 followers just from my TikTok lives, and like I've made like $100 on it, because people send the gifts and whatnot. But I stopped doing them recently because people were just trolling me. I was like, I know you guys have nothing better to do, but it's like very discouraging, and like I don't let it get to me, but it's like it doesn't make it fun anymore, because it'd be one thing if someone was DMing it to me, but it's another thing when you have 200 viewers and someone's like commenting on it, and like there will be people that
just being gross is one, and then being mean is two. People will be like, ew, my ears hurt. Someone told me that Jimi Hendrix would be very disappointed in me, then that I've ruined music, and I'm like, I've ruined
music. Wow. Yes, as a whole.
Guys, Sarah, stop ruining music.
Yeah, how's it feel to ruin music?
It feels great. But like that, and like it's just like silly comments like that. But then there will be people that will be condescending, people that think they know what they're talking about, and they'll be like, your guitar's out of tune, or you should try singing like this, or like you need to sing in a different register. And I'll go to their profile, and they will have like, they're not a musician at all. Like it'll be video games.
It's always someone with like just 3 videos of their cat.
Terrible musician. Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, like that's when I'm like, I just brush it off. But it just, like I said, it doesn't affect me. It just makes it annoying to do.
Yeah, but in all fact, I mean, I don't know. It would affect me. I would find it difficult to not affect me at all. It's definitely like must play in your mind a little bit.
It does get me down sometimes because, I do have anxiety and stuff, and
Sure,
I do, especially about like music. I've been self-conscious since high school, and I've grown out of it for sure, and like become like a confident person and just like felt more in my skin. But sometimes those comments like creep that little like middle schooler back, and I'm just like, this sucks, and like am I doing something wrong? And I know that I'm not, and I know that like there are just people that do not have anything better to do, and like that's why I just focus on all the positive comments and like the people telling me I'm doing a good job, because hey, like I know that I'm doing a good job, and not in like a cocky way. It's like I'm doing what I love to do, and like that's all that I could ask for,
Yeah.
And I've been like successful in that, and not only do I love it, but I have gotten opportunity. So I think that I'm doing like the best that I can, and that's all that I could ask for of myself. And I don't really
absolutely. That's a very mature attitude to have, and it's something that took me a really, really long time to understand. I've only really understood it probably in the last couple of years, which is that you can only do what you can do. And anything beyond that is an unrealistic expectation of you, and of yourself and of others to expect from you. It's like all you can do is do the. I mean, this is. I've got a lot of. I'm kind of like riddled with AA terminology now, but it's like all you can do is like the next right thing. You know what I mean? And just and then you got to get enough sleep and get up and keep doing that. That's all you can do.
Yeah, and like that's also been something I struggle with too. It's just like, I wouldn't call it motivation. I would call it like almost like a discipline. Like I find it hard to self-discipline myself to actually sit down and like either practice or try and write music or something like that. And like I know that like the way that the opportunities that have like come to me are like expressed on the internet, and it's like, wow, like, and I'm not trying to like downplay myself. I am doing a lot, but it's like there are days where I'm like, I genuinely don't want to do this right now, and like that's just kind of like one thing that if I could like tell myself sometimes, like younger me, like just keep going, dude. Like, you know, but I'll be real with you. And like, I feel like not enough people, especially like, I guess I would consider myself an influencer in a way, because I do have a following on social media. But like, one thing I could tell like people that are trying to do it is like, there are, or people that are, words are not coming out of my mouth right. What I would tell people that are like looking at influencers that they look up to is that they're not like perfect, you know, because I feel like social media has put a little bit of a blinder, sorry to the microphone, a little bit of a blinder over like what they expect out of themselves and like just stuff like that. And I was talking about my mom with it, or no, I wasn't talking about my mom with it. What am I thinking? I was listening to a podcast about like what's it called, like being cool, like the term like, hey, that person is so cool, because it was a celebrity doing the podcast, and she was saying how like she would see another like fellow celebrity on like on social media, and then they'd finally meet them in person and be like, dude, this person is like cool, but they're like not nearly as cool as like I've made it up in my head to be. So I don't know where I'm going with this, but anyway,
social media just as a whole, like, you know, you get a random person on social media that's constantly like, oh, woe is me and down on themselves, or whatever. But 99% of people on social media, it's not that they're fake. That's not the proper word, but it's
they take 10 pictures and only put up the best one.
I was just going to say, though, like if I had, you know, 10 things happen to me today and 9 of them were bad, I'm only posting the one good one. So all you're going to see is my perfect kids and my perfect wife and my perfect dog and my perfect life. You have no idea everything that's going on behind the scenes, you know?
Like, just to touch on, like, me personally, like, the, like, just as far, like I was saying, like, just lack of motivation and self-discipline occasionally. Like, I feel great when I finally get stuff done, but there are days where I'm literally, like, I just want to like lay in bed and eat a bag of potato chips right now.
Yeah, that's me every day. But
so, but yeah, that's like kind of like something I struggle with because I'm very hard on myself, and like that's another like piece of advice I could give to anybody is like don't be so hard on yourself, because literally like
it'll shut you down. You end up in this weird brain space
self-destructive
where you something that used to happen to me, right? And I think what it was that I'm a little bit OCD, but in this really weird way. It's like I care so much about wanting somebody to be perfect that quite often I even give up even starting to try and do it. Right. You know? Mm-hmm. And it sort of gives it sort of brings about this sort of just sense of exhaustion of even like trying to climb the hill. You know what I mean?
I feel the same way with writing. Like I wrote a song recently, but like it was probably like a few 2-3 months ago, which is no, it wasn't. It was probably like more like a month ago. Don't ask, like I said earlier, don't ask me about dates. Everything's a blur to me right now. But like it takes me so long to write music because I feel the same way. I'm like, I have this idea of what I want it to sound like and like how perfect I want it to be in my head, that like sitting down and then playing like 3 chords for 2 minutes, like, you know, and then not being like that already, I get frustrated with myself, and that just goes back to being too hard on myself and not being patient with myself. And I think patience and just like just patience with yourself is like super important, especially when you're in a creative field of work. Like it is, if you don't have patience with yourself, like it's gonna be like 10 times harder.
I couldn't agree more, and I think that that word means a lot to me as well. If I was going to get that Killbillies tattoo, instead of Killbillies, I was going to just have patience written in the scroll, because I just is something that I really aspire to have, you know, and don't really, you know, in many aspects of my life, but you know, it's something I constantly work on.
Well, it's like it comes back to I think we were talking about last week, instant gratification, when we were talking not last week, the week before, we were talking to Christopher about practicing and stuff like that, and it's that whole instant gratification, you know. The guest that was on was all about practicing, and he had practice warriors and stuff, and so Christopher Maloney, do you know him?
Christopher Maloney? He used to run Absolute Music, You ever heard about that place?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Anyways.
his whole thing is like practice, and he has a whole regimen and program around it called Practice Warriors. And so we were talking about that, and I'm notoriously bad about practice because I just never get motivated.
Right.
But my lack of motivation is not that I don't want to practice. My lack of motivation is exactly that, the instant gratification.
Right.
I sit down and I'm like, okay, perfect example we were talking about the other day is I'm now starting to try to bow my upright bass. You know, bought a bow, rosined it up, pulled it across like 3 times, and I'm like, well, that's not what it's supposed to sound like, and I got frustrated and put it down. You know, it's
Are
just,
we in a therapy session? Because I feel like I'm unlocking some feelings. That
Let it all out. Let it all out.
I'm definitely like feeling more in touch with myself now.
Welcome to 561 therapy.
I'd love to start speaking in smooth voices. Oh, that's
Put a
great.
little smooth jazz in the background.
I mean, seeing as we're on to relatively deep subjects, how do you navigate the rather treacherous waters of the booze and the drugs when you're out there sort of doing gigs?
I don't know. I've never been attracted to alcohol really at all.
Nice.
So that's not really like an issue for me.
Yeah.
I'm also very this is me exposing myself. I have really bad health anxiety.
Right.
I'm like, I don't want to get sick. I have a fear of throwing up. I'm like, I do not want anything to do with any of this.
Right.
So like,
lucky
it's definitely helped me like stay out of like all of that. And like,
Nice.
it's like just like a fear of not feeling good, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like definitely staying out of that.
That's
but
valid.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
do smoke weed. So
Yeah.
that's like
It's
I don't
almost
know.
a part. Would you even have been able to sign to a reggae label if you didn't?
Right, that's what I'm saying. I think I had
There was a rider or something in there. She had to.
yeah. Stipulation.
it was in the contract.
Yeah, exactly.
Must smoke 10 blunts a day. No, I'm kidding. I don't do that, by the way.
But you know, that's really, you know, with the drinking, because that's what'll get you hanging around bars all the time. And it's great to hear that, you know, you never even really had to cross
I've
that
just
bridge.
like seen like some like I don't know. I've just seen people drunk before, and I'm like, I don't want to look like that,
Yeah, it's
you
not
know.
fun. It's not fun.
Like, and I'm not like judging people for drinking and getting drunk and having fun. I'm just saying like I've seen people get like blackout, and I'm like
Yeah.
no, I don't want to, you
Put
know.
yourself in that situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have gotten tipsy before with my mom.
My
So
God.
that was fun. Shout out my mom for like drinking some Corona seltzers with me.
Does your mum been she's been supportive of you and your music?
She's my #1 fan
Nice.
and
Excellent.
supporter, and I could not be more grateful.
Yeah.
She has like, I don't know. She told me like when I was first going into this, because I did drop out of high school to do music. I'm sure we touched on that on the
Yeah.
last podcast. But she told me, she's like, I don't care if you want to be a professional crocheter. I just want you to be happy. Like, she's like, I don't care.
nice.
And guess what? I crochet now.
Ah,
No.
And you're happy.
And I'm happy. I'm doing what I love, and I crochet now. So no, but she's always been like, I just want you to be happy in whatever you do, and like she'll support me, and like I've been super grateful for that, because you know I was still in high school when I started like playing out
Yeah.
and stuff, and I didn't know how to like reach out to venues and stuff, so she still does it for me. She still like reaches out to venues for me and like books gigs for me and whatnot.
She's a
Well, I feel like
momager.
Mm-hmm. Her contact name in my phone is Kris Jenner.
I love that.
That's so funny. So I think maybe the fact that you did know it early that you wanted to do it, and that you dropped out of high school to do it, put a fair amount of weight on of importance on doing it well. You know, that which isn't a bad thing at all. And one of the things that we've talked about on here before, which I totally agree with, is that like if you have a plan B, like it'll screw you up. That'll end up being your plan A.
Well,
you
yeah,
know?
we've had this conversation because my son is a drummer and was getting out of high school this last year. Was graduating and was telling me, you know, he wants to do music. And I kept telling him, like, that's great, but have a plan B just on the off chance that it doesn't work out. And he kept reminding me, you know, which made 100% sense when he would say it, is, Dad, if I have a plan B, I've already admitted failure.
Yeah.
And it's true. And so, we did come to the agreement of kind of like you were saying with your mom and the crocheting. Both my kids, years ago I would have said, oh man, I really want them to go to college. I want them to be better than me. I want them. At the end of the day, same like your mom, I just want them to be happy.
Right.
And I just want that whatever they do, whatever that may be, that they give that 110%.
Right.
Don't just flail around and you're happy, but you're just kind of flailing around. Just whatever you do, I just want you to be the best you can be at that.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
and that's why my mom is so supportive, because she wants to make sure that like I am giving 100%. And well, my brain just blanked. No, like, and she has asked me, like, in times of, like, me being stressed out about, like, the gigging or, like, me being overwhelmed, because sometimes when I get overwhelmed, I completely shut down and don't want to do anything.
Sure.
And so she has, like, asked me the question of, like, do you want to take a break? And, like, that question terrifies me, because I'm like, I don't have the plan B. But also because it's, like, it's just sometimes self-evaluation is, like, really scary, because you're like, okay, like, what if I do want to take a break? And I never do. I always, like, this will always be, like, what I want to do. But if I like that she gave me that option and asked me those questions, because it is okay if you need to take a break, Right. It's never, like, a bad thing to take a step back, because sometimes you do need to reevaluate in a time of stress and stuff like that. And I know that, like, especially with like just my mom, like I have that safe space to do so,
That's great. I know that when I moved to the US, so Sonic Boom 6 was just an original band.
The music is so good.
And
it's good, isn't it? Shout out to Sonic Boom 6.
And I'm playing a gig with them in January. How cool is
gosh.
That? In England. So I got
That's awesome.
But, But
good to know.
I'll be there.
But anyways, there was this kind of. I always felt like, especially after I left the band, and I went back to kind of working at a university and doing, taking notes at university and working in, doing. Like on an education agency and stuff like that. I'd never really figured out a way to make music my whole thing. But then when I moved here, I was like, the only thing I'm going to do is music. Like it's almost like I reinvented myself. Well, I just slightly changed the model, because in England it was like I had the punk band, but then I wasn't trying to. Outside of that, I wasn't trying to do music in other ways to make my living. I was doing other things to make money. But here I was like, no, so as long as it's music, I'm okay with it, and I just stuck to that, and have managed to do it. And I feel like just as long as you can be a bit flexible with what exactly the dream is, you can follow it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just I had to kind of slightly broaden the focus,
Right, exactly.
That's
why I like the sound engineering too, because I'm still involved, but I'm also like doing something else, because it's also good to change up the pace a little bit. I have my dream, but my dream is going to be my dream, but it's okay to like branch out from that and try other things, because we're human beings, and the doing the same thing over and over again can sometimes like wear us out. Yeah. And I think it's very healthy to broaden those horizons.
Absolutely it is. No doubt about it. So what you got future plans wise? You got anything coming up?
I do. I have a tour coming up right after Thanksgiving. I think I said it earlier, the Hip Abduction and Joe Samba. We're hitting Jacksonville, we're playing Janice again, and then we're playing at Terra Firmata.
Nice.
And then after that, actually before that, I'm releasing a song.
Oh, cool.
So my third single, can't believe I almost forgot. We're officially announcing on Saturday, but it comes out. You heard it here first. It comes out on November 11th. It's called Someone Else.
Nice.
I'm really stoked about it. It's kind of like the perfect blend of reggae and indie, which is kind of what like the vibe that I'm going for.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
awesome.
I'll play it for you guys in a bit.
Indie. Regdy? I'm going to stop with that. Anyway, yeah, let's hear you play right now. Why not?
All right, sounds
Let's
good.
do it. Yeah.
This one's called Sometimes. You only think about me sometimes, but it's always at the wrong time. You hit me up when I'm in bed and it's way too late, and never when I'm up and I'm wide awake. You think you're so cool, but in reality you treat me like a fool. You only think about me sometimes, but somehow I'm falling for you. You're like a drug that I don't need, but it helps me fall asleep. All that I can do is dream about you. You got me tripping till I fall, but then my body hits a wall, and I wake up in my bed without you. I shouldn't have gotten comfortable, but I let myself be vulnerable. It's a shame. You only think about me sometimes, but it's always at the wrong time. You hit me up when I'm in bed and it's way too late, and never when I'm up and I'm wide awake. You think you're so cool, but in reality you treat me like a fool. You only think about me sometimes, but somehow I'm falling for you. Told myself I'd stay away from all the bullshit games you play, 'cause I let you in one too many times. I'm running circles in my mind to try and justify your lies, but someday I'm gonna have to realize I know that you're toxic for me, but there's something that I still see in you. It's a shame. You only think about me sometimes, but it's always at the wrong time. You hit me up when I'm in bed and it's way too late, and never when I'm up and I'm wide awake. You think you're so cool, but in reality you treat me like a fool. You only think about me sometimes, but somehow I'm falling for you. Think about me sometimes, but it's always at the wrong time. You hit me up when I'm in bed and it's way too late, and never when I'm up and I'm wide awake. You think you're so cool, but in reality you treat me like a fool. You only think about me sometimes, but somehow I'm falling for you. This one is called Someone Else, and it comes out on November 11th. You treated me good from the start, and that's why not loving you is so hard. You are my best friend in every kind of way. That's why I can't let you go, but I really don't want to stay. 'Cause when we're all alone together, I just want you for myself. And when we go out on the town, I really wish I was with someone else. My mind is really weakened while I'm still yours to keep. You stress me out sometimes, but I know that you'll be there when I cry. You are the best thing I have, and that may be true right now, but one day we will wake up and
face the music and realize there's soulmates that can last forever, even when we have to say goodbye. When tomorrow comes, you're picking up your stuff. Some things I can't let go, like the jacket you gave me when I was cold. But I know that I wanted this, 'cause there's some things I gotta fix with myself. You'd understand if you knew me well, 'cause when we're all alone together, I just want you for myself. And when we go out on the town, I really wish I was with someone else. My mind is really weekends while I'm still yours to keep. You stress me out sometimes, but I know that you'll be there when I cry. You are the best thing I have, and that may be true right now, but one day we will wake up and we'll have to face the music and realize we're soulmates that can last forever, even when we have to say goodbye, 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 goodbye. When we're all alone together, I just want you for myself. And when we go out on the town, I really wish I was with someone else. Oh.
561 Music is brought to you by Handlebars Bar and Grill. It's a biker bar in Tequesta, and if you're driving up US 1, you come across it on the right-hand side. It's a little bar there. It's bright yellow. You can't miss it with the handlebars on the sign. And it has a long and storied history. It's been there. It used to be called Judy's, and it was run by this guy Victor, who sadly passed this year, R.I.P. Victor. And then my father-in-law took it over, and he's doing a great job up there. There is a bike night every second Thursday of the month, and there is a jam every fourth Sunday of the month. If you're interested in that kind of thing, it's just an all-inclusive, any kind of music, any style, any ability type of a jam. And there's great beers on tap, and they're wonderful food. Burnsy, the chef, does a fantastic job. If you're interested in classic cars or classic bikes, there's always that kind of stuff hanging around there. It attracts that sort of a crowd because it's called Handlebars Bar and Grill, so it makes sense. And you should come swing by. It's definitely a local spot and has a lot of character. And there's people who have been going there for decades and decades. It's one of those places that's a part of the furniture in Tequesta, and you should definitely come check it out. I booked the music for the place and love doing it, and I was a part of helping set the place up, and I'm a huge fan. And anyone who is interested in biker bars, or even if you've just never been to one and you're curious about what a biker bar is about, you should go and check out Handlebars Bar and Grill. We are also sponsored by Oasis Root. Now, Oasis Root Kava Bar is in Sea Grape Square on Indiantown Rd, and it is a kava bar. If you don't know anything about kava, it's a Polynesian root that you grind up and you mix with water, and it has been in Polynesia for potentially thousands of years. It's an old thing that they used for kind of ceremonial and also sort of leisure purposes. It's meant to be something where that brings people together. You all take a shell of Kava and chink them together and say bula and have it together like that. It's meant to be something to bring people together. It's has a kind of an effect, which is, I guess, a kind of a slightly warming effect. It just kind of makes you feel nice. It's not particularly intoxicating. It's not like drinking alcohol. So the atmosphere in a Kava bar is sort of like a cross between a regular bar and a coffee house. It's pretty chill in there. You get all sorts of different types of Kava bars. Some of them are more like a club, you know, there's sort of like blacklight and EDM playing. And some of them are more like a cafe. This is one of the cafe type of ones. It's super chill in there. If you're looking for somewhere to, I don't know, maybe go and do some work on your laptop or go and have a chat with friends, it's perfect for that kind of thing. There's a foosball table in there if that's your jam, or baby-foot as they call it in France. And yeah, Jim, the owner, is a really cool guy, and he
561 Music is also sponsored by Live Music Community. And Live Music Community this Sunday, October 23rd, has the Give and Let Give. I believe this is the fourth one now.
Yep.
Yeah. So Give and Let Give, if you have not heard of it, you're living under a rock. But basically it is an event where we have here at Live Music Community, and we have musicians donate their used gear, things that they have lying around, they're not using anymore. They donate it to the school. And then we have this event. It's a 2-hour event, and we have kids come in, and the kids basically walk through the hallways here, and there's stacks and stacks and stacks of stuff. I can't even begin to tell you the amount of stuff that comes into this place for this.
Yep.
And they get to pick stuff out. And I'm not talking like a patch cable, although I'm sure we have plenty of that stuff lying around. I'm talking like full, guitar amps, and we've given away entire drum sets, entire PA systems. We've given away
really nice guitars.
Yeah, guitars, ginormous, ridiculous bass cabinets and stuff. Just everything. You name it. And then we set up this room that we're in here now doing the podcast, which is the main room, the main band room. We set that up, and then usually you and Justin are in here, and you guys help the kids test out the equipment and make sure everything's working okay and show them how to use it, right?
Yeah. And I'll be there. You're going to be away, aren't you?
I'm going to be in Las Vegas. So, I mean, I don't regret that one bit.
Have a really, really good time, man. But yeah, we'll be here, and it's going to be good. It's always great. It's just nice to see the smiles on their faces when they get what they want. And, sometimes it just blows my mind. I don't know how lucky they are if there was stuff like that around when I was a kid.
It blows my mind, like, Ricky from The Shake, we've had this conversation with him before, where, if there was a place like this when we were young, oh my God, like where would we be now compared to where we are now? Like it just between the lessons and the band situations, and how to deal with your bandmates, and how to deal with the band situation as a whole, how to deal with equipment failures, the lessons in general, just the music lessons in general. Most of the kids that come here are multi-instrumentalists because they just pick and choose different things, and you guys just kind of go with it. And so it's amazing. And so this event, this Give and Let Give event that you guys are having on Sunday, is just a great opportunity for these kids to kind of round out their equipment list. Maybe they have a guitar but no amp. Maybe they have an acoustic guitar and they want to step it up to an electric guitar. It's free for the kids to get in.
Yep.
If you're a Live Music Community student, you get to come in, I think, a few minutes early.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then admission for adults is you have to bring a piece of equipment.
Yeah,
and it's that simple. And this actually started out as a live gear swap. The adults would come in, and if they had some gear lying around, ideally they would donate it, but theoretically they could come in and they could donate one piece of equipment and pick up something else that they needed to round out their arsenal. And it didn't have to be an even swap either. But in a perfect world, donations and kids walk away with free music gear.
Yeah,
and we make the world a better place.
We almost always end up with more stuff than we start with.
100%.
So
always.
If you're thinking of coming down and you're like, maybe there won't be anything left, there's always tons left. People show up in droves to donate stuff. So you should come down if you need something. Just come and have a poke around.
People give us stuff all throughout the weeks leading up to the event. People give us stuff during the event. They show up with stuff in their hands, and almost always we give out a ton of equipment, but end up at the end of the event closing out the event with more than we started the event with.
Yeah, super cool.
Which is insane.
And then it just kind of trickles out to whoever needs it over the next couple of weeks. Like if we get a new student and they need a flute or something like that, we can be like, here you go. Yeah, it's great. We love it. We love being able to do that. Yeah, so
this Sunday, 2 to 4, Give and Let Give, number 4 at Live Music Community. Be there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So seeing as we're talking about Live Music Community, do you have any advice for musicians who are starting their journey on becoming musicians?
I think like when you're starting out, it's very easy to get frustrated, and like it's going to happen. Frustration is going to happen regardless, and instead of like getting mad at yourself, getting frustrated, just like we said earlier, talking about patience, like just being patient and like not giving up, because like your fingers may hurt when you start playing guitar. It might not sound like the way that, you know, the person teaching you sounds like. You know, it's just a lot of patience and just, I don't know, just like feeling it within yourself. And
I know that I'm going to misquote it, but I heard someone say recently that you know, success is the end result of working a small amount towards something over a long period of time.
Right.
You know, it's just like if you put in a bit of work every day, you know, you're going to climb the mountain, but you can't expect to do it all in one day or even in short bursts. It's about maintaining, you know, enough energy, but you don't have to go crazy and do like hours and hours and hours of practice a day. But if you just stay on, you know, with goal oriented and just head towards it and just do a bit towards it every day, you're going to get there, you know?
Right, exactly. And like working on it every day is definitely very important when you're first starting out, because, you know, you're still learning and your brain is, you know, opening up to a new skill. And if you're not consistent with it, that's another thing, consistency, because if you're not consistent with it, then it's just not going to come to you.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to sit there reteaching yourself the same things over and over again, you know, so you just got to keep working on it every day, and, you know.
Yeah, small amounts every day goes a long way.
Oh, for sure.
As opposed to, you know, 4 hours and then you burn out.
Exactly. Yeah. That's another thing. Don't overwork yourself, because I've done that and it's not fun. You know, you end up even more frustrated than not being able to play the chord that you wanted to play in the first place.
Yeah, totally. I've been on this kind of years-long mission to teach myself how to sort of sweep, pick, and shred, and the times when I make real progress is when I just 10 minutes, even if I just do a bit of it every day, you know, that's when I start to see some progress.
And the way our brains work, especially when we're learning, is like less information at once goes longer, just because when your brain is obtaining too much information, it doesn't know what to sort through and what's most important. So I feel like making one thing a day, like a different thing a day, you know, just a small thing.
Absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit about what those songs you played us were about?
Yeah, so sometimes isn't really about anything that's happened to me. I just know that it is a scenario, and it's just kind of like being with someone that's, you know, you probably shouldn't be with, you know, you don't have the best relationship, but, you know, there's just something about them that you still like, you still care about them, you know, and I think that's just kind of what it's about. It's just a fun song, you know, kind of like, this is a bad thing, like, but I still kind of like am having fun.
Sure.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, I've definitely been there.
Yeah.
I've been there for 25 years. No, I'm kidding. Honey, if you're listening, it's a joke.
Put my bleep over it.
Right? We need a Sierra bleep on that one.
So before the show, we were saying because last week we made the air blue with all the cussing.
Yeah.
And so we bleeped some of it to save your ears. And we were saying for going forward, we're going to have like Sierra's face going like this over our mouths. And
right. Yeah. Pop up on the screen.
It's pretty awesome. We should definitely do that. I almost feel like cursing really awfully just so we can do it in this episode.
Right, we got to get her in front of the green screen before she leaves.
yeah, totally. We might have to wait.
Also, just letting you know, you guys can swear in front of me.
Oh my God.
I know it feels so weird, but you guys can swear in front of me.
It's all right. You know, I've considered you an adult for quite a long time at this point. So
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very mature for your age and have been, like for a while.
It has been like a struggle though, because like I'll be talking to someone that I just met and like we'll be vibing. We'll be like, yeah, like, having great conversation, and then they'll be like, by the way, how old are you? And I'll be like, at the time, this was like a specific like conversation that I'm talking about. I was like, yeah, I'm 17. And she was like, aw, you're so cute. And I'm like, oh God.
Yeah. Wish I
and then it wasn't the same after that.
Yeah, so I'm 35.
Well, I mean, honestly, you're saying she's very mature for her age or whatever. Way more mature than some of our other guests. So,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I appreciate that.
Way more mature than us. So.
Yeah. No, but, I think some people are just old souls, just sort of come out fighting and know a bit more worldly than others.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to, get my feet on the ground. So, consider yourself lucky. And also, it's I think just the fact that you knew what you were doing so young and approached it in such a business-like manner is to be commended. I just think just the way you've approached everything you do is really awesome, and a lot can be learned from it.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I think you're a good role model for young musicians coming into the world, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
So did you bring some gear that we can have a look at?
I did.
Excellent.
I'll go grab it.
We'll see. We'll have Justin throw it up
Oh, he's doing a picture. You're good. You can just talk about it.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's right there.
Screen.
Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is the Enya Next G.
Right on. Looks space age.
Yes.
Right.
It is otherworldly. So the Enya Next G is I would say it's a smart guitar of sorts. So the thicker black part over on the right there is actually a speaker. And it doesn't have any sound when it's turned off, so all the sound is coming through the speaker, and it sounds amazing. It has so many cool qualities and little tidbits about it.
It does sound. Well, I had to go on it before we started, and it's a lot of fun to play.
Yeah. So the coolest part about it is like when I first started playing it, I was like, I'm not like a huge fan of like the way like the tones are sounding. And then I read more in the manual, and there's an app that you can download that comes with it, and you can actually EQ the guitar itself with all the different frequencies.
Oh, nice.
So it's like a stereographic EQ. It's like awesome. And it also comes with a Bluetooth microphone if you get like the bigger package.
Yeah.
And it's a mic specifically for this guitar, so you connect it and your vocals will come out of the speaker. And not only that, but you can also add effects to the guitar and the vocals itself. So you can add reverb. You can also EQ the vocals.
All in the app?
All in the app.
Oh, awesome.
And you can add different effects to your vocal. Well, reverb, but to the guitar you can add distortion, wah, chorus, reverb. It does have like an echo, which is a delay. It's just not like time. Like you can't time it. So it is like set at one tempo.
Well, one of the good things about stuff like this, though, is that they can always change the software. You know what I mean?
Oh, exactly.
It's not like that's going to be the end result. All this stuff
Absolutely.
always evolves.
Yeah, so I really love it. I've been actually using it as my PA for a few of like the places I play solo, just because it does get pretty loud, and it's for what it is. It's like absolutely amazing quality.
Yeah. Is there any latency on the mic?
No, none at all.
That's crazy.
Like, right? I found that insane. Like, I've actually played a gig and they've told me to turn down, and I'm like, really?
Wow.
Like, I'm playing out of a guitar right now, and you're telling me to turn
to
down?
just walk in with like a guitar and a microphone. Well, not even a microphone. The microphone's in the case with the guitar.
Yeah,
so
it came
how
with
amazing
it.
to just
It
walk
literally
in with
has its
just
own little
that
pocket.
case and
Yeah.
be done. Like
That's
that's your
Just-
setup.
That's your setup. You know.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
It's truly my favorite guitar that I have at the moment. It's quite beautiful, honestly, but I don't know what material it's made out of. I have one made of carbon fiber. I don't know if this is carbon fiber. I don't think so because of how heavy it is.
Right.
But
It's definitely not ugly.
yeah, it's definitely not ugly. Little inside joke from earlier. But
Not ugly.
yeah. But anyways, that's the Enya Next G. It is amazing, and I'm very glad that I own it.
Yeah, it sounds amazing through that speaker. When you were going on it earlier,
it's
sounds
so
amazing.
helpful to have even if I'm just hanging out at my house, it's so helpful to have a little bit of reverb on it, because I'm a hoe for reverb, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
When I'm at a gig, I'm like, put all of the reverb on my vocals, you know.
That sounds like can you wet that up a little bit?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like, it's just super helpful, because it's just more pleasing to the ear, and like the fact that you can EQ it to exactly how you want it to sound, like, is just so helpful, because then it makes it more fun to play it and like practice and stuff. But it's just
But how cool is it, like, just like, like you're saying when you're at home and stuff, if you're just jamming out with some people and stuff, you don't have to go and be lugging an amp and all this stuff.
Exactly.
You literally just turn it on and start playing.
No, that gig with your neighbor, when I came around, I could have just brought that.
You could have just brought that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had to like set up a PA and do all that stuff. You could have literally just set that up.
It also comes with headphones, so you can play silently. Nice. So
see, that's awesome.
It's just it's the full package, literally. It just comes with pretty much everything you need. Also, little extra bit, it comes with these attachments that you put onto the strap pegs, and it doesn't come with a guitar strap, but it does. The strap to the case is the guitar strap.
Oh, there you go.
So it's kind of like an all-in-one deal, ultimate like busking guitar too.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, like you can do busking and stuff like that, and the thing that really floored me is I was talking to her about the price point on this thing earlier. I thought for sure she was gonna tell me like this is a $2,000 guitar or something. It's under $1,000.
Yeah. That's like the coolest part.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty awesome.
I know, and like I do a few solo gigs. Like I'm playing Cork pretty soon.
Nice.
On next Friday, and I could just use that for that.
For sure. Yeah, I just I didn't even think anything like this could exist. When I first, I got it and I didn't even, really know what it was. Yeah. They were just like, hey, can we, send you this? And I'm like, sure, yeah, why not? It's a guitar. And then I got it and I didn't really know how it worked at first. And then when I figured it out and I saw the microphone, I was like, no way.
Yeah,
this is even awesome. Better than I expected.
Yeah. I tell you what, the fact that they gave you one is working. This is definitely, now I want one really bad.
Well, I was gonna say though, Ben, usually the tech corner of the show is your shopping hour. You're looking at pedals or whatever. But I gotta say, man, I might have one of these next week because I'm really digging this guitar, man.
Yeah, it's super cool. Yeah.
Well, I couldn't recommend it enough.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think they chose the right person to
for sure
to give a free one to. Man, you're definitely spreading the word, and also, what a cool thing. It's badass. So, what you got? So we've already talked about what you got coming up, but immediately, what's coming up?
Shows or anything like that you want to play?
Shows. Let me look at my little schedule.
Yeah, I know you're going on tour in November.
Yes. So I'm playing Northwood Art and Music tomorrow in West Palm, and I'm also playing E.R. Bradley's on Saturday.
E.R. Bradley's on Saturday.
Yeah.
What time is that? 6 to 9?
6 to 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are my immediate stuff.
Sure.
So yeah, that's what I got immediately.
Awesome.
And then Saturday as well, we're announcing the release of my song. So it's another thing.
Nice one. I got Cork on Friday, and then we're playing Paddy Max on Saturday, aren't we?
Nope, you and James.
Oh, that's right, because you're away. Yeah.
You're in Vegas, seeing Paramore.
I'm gonna phone it in, man. I'm gonna call you from Vegas.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You put the mic, the phone up to the mic.
I'm so torn. They just put out the schedule the other day too, and there's like 5 or 6 stages. I think there's 6 stages, and thankfully there's never 2 bands at the exact same time that I want to see. There's specific ones I want to see, but there are bands where at one extreme of the area, there's one stage and there's a band I want to see, and then literally the minute they end, another band is starting on another stage clear across the entire fairgrounds or whatever.
You gotta finally buy your electric scooter.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
I wonder how big, how spread apart the stages are, because I can only imagine you're gonna hear Crossfire.
It's the Las Vegas Fairgrounds, so it's gotta be pretty big, I'd imagine. And they just put out. I don't know if you saw. They I guess we're going to work out the kinks for everyone because this is the first one. This is the first one we were young. But they just put out the flyer with all the bands announced for next year's when we were young. And it's got like Green Day and Blink-182 and Sum 41, like just a ton of bands.
More like pop punk, skate punk
way
bands.
better bands even than like this time around. Like,
Right,
but
yeah.
like, as far as stuff that I listen to. And so, like, of course, we got the pre-sale code because we already have tickets. So yeah, we got sucked in and we bought tickets for next year.
I know you were saying earlier how people were like, I can't believe like this is a real thing, and I think it's because My Chemical Romance is playing.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
that's one of the ones that I absolutely want to see.
Yeah.
And here's a really weird side note. There's a band, which I actually like the band, but there's a band called Boys Like Girls, I think it is. Yeah, Boys Like Girls. Pop punk, that kind of stuff, whatever. Really, really good. And saw that they were on the schedule, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I've never seen these guys before. I like their music. I've never seen them before. I had no idea. My wife, apparently, one of the attorneys at the law office my wife works at, is a singer, guitarist, bass player, whatever, for another band. And somewhere along the way, that band lost their bass player, and he's like childhood friends with the guys that are in that band. So he's now in that band.
Yeah.
And they're
God.
like, they just got off a tour from like Australia, and they're gonna play the festival. So
Nice.
I'm really
Wow.
crossing my fingers that he is like, hey, come on backstage with
Hey.
us.
That would be awesome.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, you just ask him right now. Maybe that'd be a bit much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, wicked. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I forgot to say what time I was playing. So Cork, I'm playing from 5 to 8 on Friday, and Paddy Max is 9 to midnight.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
Nice.
But yeah, it was a pleasure, and we wanted to have you back on when we knew what we were doing, because so kind of you to come and sort of help us stagger through the first episode.
Yeah,
but
be our guinea pig on the first one. So.
Yeah. Whereas like 99% ums and ers from us.
Well, I think you're doing a fantastic job.
Thanks, Sarah. We appreciate it.
So thank you for having me back on. This has
absolutely.
been
And,
absolutely lovely.
There it is.
Yeah, we'll throw all the social medias and all the stuff up on the show notes and everything.
Awesome.
And as always, everyone like, subscribe, and send us money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You can go on the website and there's a button to donate.
561music.com is the website. It has all the links to everything there. If you want to find us on social media, it's at 561 Music Podcast.
Perfect.
Click the button.
Yeah.
See ya.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.